Now we're going to be meeting a remarkable young woman who was diagnosed with a rare neurological condition, Friedreich's ataxia, at just 20 years of age.
We're also joined by a doctor and a mother whose daughters live with the condition and has dedicated her career to researching it.
Jodie Donovan and Dr Mary Kearney, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's lovely to have you here. Mary, if we can start with you, what exactly is Friedreich's ataxia?
It's a neuromuscular disorder, and it starts very insidiously, as I'm sure Jodie will tell us, with, you know, a bit of stumbling and a bit of trouble with the balance. It then gets a little bit worse, and something we're really not aware of as ordinary people is our core balance. And when you stand up, you feel a bit wobbly on your feet, and it progresses to wheelchair use. It also affects your hands as well as your feet, and it can be associated with a curve of the spine, scoliosis, some heart disease and diabetes, as well as affecting your speech.
Wow.
Jodie, when you were very young when you first noticed early symptoms of it, is that right?
Yeah. Looking back on it, I can predate it to when I was about 12, 13. I done the Scouts more or less my whole life, and we would do hikes, so it wasn't out of the ordinary. And just one day we went on a hike, about 20 minutes into it, my body was just saying no, like I just couldn't keep going. And it was like my legs were giving out. And then because my legs were giving out, I ended up having like a panic attack.
Yeah.
And then I just put that down to being unfit and like 12 years old and I can't hack a hike. And then I was very like clumsy and unsteady my whole teenage years. And then I realised something was wrong when I was about 19.
What made you realise something was wrong?
I had two proper falls where I hurt myself. The first one in January of 2024. I fell in my sister's house and I split my chin open. I had to get stitches, and then a few months later in April of 24, I was in town with my mum and I fell. I thought I had broken my knee, but I had just dislocated it, but still. And then in the emergency room, I was like, this isn't right.
Yeah, and all this time, because you said, like, you noticed it when you were 12, you're on the hike in Scouts. Was it all that time that it's like, sure, that's just Jodie, she's just clumsy, and you were having these falls? You weren't connecting it?
No, and like, no one around me was connecting it because it wasn't that bad or that noticeable, you know what I mean? It was just like, oh, Jodie's a bit clumsy, like, you know, I have a few stumbles and falls. And then, in my late teenage years, it was like interrupting my everyday life.
And you'd been sort of masking it and trying to hide it, and as you said, using the term clumsy. Mary, you're smiling away there because both your daughters, Helen and Brona, have Friedreich's ataxia.
Yeah, and what Jodie describes is typical. And the worst of it is that it just sneaks up on you, that even if you did go to the doctor would say, oh, not here again. I mean, and you know, what's wrong? And it doesn't add up until something really serious happens, like you fall and you split your chin open and you dislocate it. It's really, and a lot of rare diseases are like that. And a lot of rare diseases are difficult to diagnose, and they're beginning to recognise that, and they're trying to improve the recognition because I'm involved at a European reference network level for rare neurological diseases, and they're looking now to develop red flags for rare diseases. And what you're saying is really typical, Jodie. Something really serious. You see, you know, a few doctors have atypical symptoms that can't easily be explained.
Was it the same for your daughters then in terms of the diagnosis or the
no,
onset?
Friedreich's can present in different ways, and my daughter presented with scoliosis. And she had scoliosis, and her recovery afterwards was slow. And it was only the following year when she began to, it was obviously that she was stumbling and her balance and coordination wasn't so good. But because she had been diagnosed with and had surgery for scoliosis, then it was picked up pretty quickly by her neurologist.
Okay, so that was your first. And for you, Jodie, after that big fall, you were diagnosed at 20.
Yeah, so how it like came about, I went back to my GP and I was like, something's not right, like I'm 19, I'm tired, I'm clumsy, I'm falling all over the place. And she linked me in with my neurologist now, And for a while, it was believed that I had a different rare disease called Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease. And that is where it's kind of just like nerve damage, a bit of muscle atrophy.
Yeah.
It's not as serious. And then my genetic test came back for that. It came back negative, so I was tested for Friedreich's ataxia.
And how long ago was that?
I was diagnosed on May 14th of this year.
Of this year?
Yeah, so fairly recent.
How was that?
I had come to the conclusion myself that I had it because I was told in May, no, you don't have CMT, or sorry, February. So from February to May, I was looking into every kind of disease.
Yeah.
And I had found Friedreich's ataxia. So when I went in on May 14th, I didn't know that I had been tested for it. So I was planning to go into my neurologist and say, like, hey, I think I have Friedreich's ataxia, but obviously it was the other way around.
Done it.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned it was last year, it was 24,
Yeah.
so early last year that you had that big fall. So we're like a year and a half on from that. How has it progressed for you? I mean, you've got the use of the wheelchair now. Are you depending on that more and more?
Yeah, like out and about, like going to the shops, anything, like I would use the wheelchair. In my house, I can do like furniture walking, like I can hold on to stuff and like walk around. But yeah, it has seriously like deteriorated in last year, just my walking. I now have scoliosis as well. I have no feeling in my legs, I have no feeling in my hands. I have carpal tunnel syndrome in both my hands. I have a foot drop. Yeah, it causes a fair few issues.
That's a plethora
Yeah.
of things. Like, that's a menu of things that have just been landed on you. You're 21 years old. How do you, like, you're sitting here with a smile on your face. You're fabulous. You're lovely. Your boyfriend Shay's outside.
It's just like, you just have to get on with
it.
it. Like, there's nothing to do apart from just keep going.
Yeah.
And like, I think what helped is that I come to the conclusion that I had it myself. I had looked into it. It wasn't just shoved in my face, you have this, like, you know, that it did definitely calm me down, that I'd already known about it before I was diagnosed.
Mary, in terms of living with the disease, and you can speak to your daughter's experience as well, what is life like on an ongoing basis? I mean, your daughters they're still into horse riding. What's it like, and how do you manage it?
It's so difficult to describe what it's like, but it probably does take over your life. And yet I would like to preface my remarks by saying my daughters try not to let it take over my life too. Because as you can appreciate, they're in their 30s and they don't want to, you know, dominate my life. But, you know, if you're even... last Saturday I went out with my daughter for coffee, and it's a new place. And she came home to her other sister who has Friedreich's, and she said, you know, Helen, you'd like it. You could get in the door easy.
That's it. That's the measurement. That's the yardstick for
That's the yardstick.
accessibility.
Yeah.
Accessibility.
Yeah. Accessibility. You
Just
know.
having...
And we're so delighted that the new coffee place you know, is accessible.
It's things like that, just common sense things that as we're building, as we're making things to make things accessible for wheelchairs. I know that there is a drug that is on the market,
That's
Mary.
right. Yeah, there is a drug that's in the market. It's approved in America. It's the European Commission have licensed it for use in the EU, but it's not yet approved, regulatory approved in Ireland, never mind the reimbursement yet in Ireland. And it reduces progression by at least 50%.
But it's about $300,000 or something like that, is it?
Per person per year.
Per person per year.
Per person per year.
Jodie, when you hear something like that, and we know that the drugs industry make a lot of money and that's what they're there for.
Yeah, it's like disappointing to hear almost, because I know there's something out there that can help me, and like it doesn't cure it, but like slowing the progression by 50% is a lot. Like, because 2 years ago I was 18, like I was going to town, like going into nightclubs, and like now I'm in a wheelchair. So it does disappoint me that like it's not here, and like I emailed the Minister for Health like about the drug, didn't hear anything back, and it's just, it would so improve my life, your daughter's life, everyone else in Ireland that has it. And yeah, like it's so expensive. It's not like you can buy it out of pocket.
No.
But I would love it to come here, obviously.
Which is what, you know, you got to fight for. And we know that the drug reimbursement programme here, Mary, you're working within the system. You know that we're really far behind and all this kind of stuff. For you, I suppose, what would you like people to kind of realise, Jodie, or to know? Like, one thing you mentioned was accessibility, Mary, getting into a coffee shop. What?
Yeah, like, just for people to know, like, how much of a daily struggle, like, some things are. Like, accessibility is now, like, a luxury more than, like, anything else. And it's just, my life has changed so much, and, like, it can happen to anyone, like, at all. And it's just important to get the recognition out there.
And do we know why it happens, Mary?
Oh, it's a genetic
condition.
Yeah, and I think prevention is really important here. That's one thing I'd like to see. I mean, I'd love to see the drug coming, of course I could. But if you wanted a cost-effective method, we have found that there are pockets of it in Ireland. And I think, yeah, unfortunately, and I think prevention, genetic testing before people have children, particularly if there's any relative or any connection, even if it is a distant cousin with it, is well worth considering. And for the medical profession to consider, because over the years, colleagues have come back, or people that I know through Friedreich's ataxia have come back and they've mentioned it to GPs and to consultants about getting genetic tested, and because they had a relative with Friedreich's, and no, I don't think it's necessary. But yet they came along and had a child with Friedreich's ataxia.
It's so heartbreaking. You've been wonderful joining us this morning.
Amazing.
Dr Mary Kearney and Jodie, you're a hero. You're a legend.
Absolutely.
And you're fabulous.
You are fabulous. We didn't get to see, she got matching hair with Shay, her boyfriend. They're gorgeous. It's unbelievable.
Shay's not coming in.
Shay's like, I am not coming into that
He's refusing. Thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for coming in. It's amazing. I know you're still
Thank you
doing
so much
all
for
the work
having us.
as well, Mary.
Yeah.
Thanks a million.
Okay, thank
Amazing.
you.